Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Middel Archives. Today is a special day. Today is Chai Elul, the 18th day of Elul. Today is the Yom Haledes, the birthday of the Baal Shem Tov, and today is the birthday of the Alter Rebbe. And from today until Rosh Hashanah is exactly 12 days. And we all know that Rosh Hashanah, that Chodesh Elul is a time to make a cheshbon hanefesh, accounting of the year. So since today is Chai Elul, so from today there's 12 months in a year. So from today we should make a cheshbon a day every month. For example, today is Chai Elul. Today we'll make a cheshbon hanefesh on the month of Tishrei. Tomorrow the month of Cheshvan, next day the month of Kislev, and so on. Cheshvan HaNefesh is the entire Elul, not from Chai Elul only. But Chai Elul, that's special. Just like a person who has a business, and he once a year, when it comes to tax season, he sits down and he makes a cheshbon. Did he make money this year? Did he lose money this year? And if he lost money, how can he be better next year? The same thing is also Chodesh Elul. A person makes a cheshbon hanefesh. And also, as the Alter Rebbe says, Melech Basode, Elul, the king, comes out to the field. The Eibishter comes to you. Meaning that a whole year, in order to get to the king, it's not easy. Sometimes they won't let you in. You have to wear good clothes, and you have to go to this guard until you get to this room and that room, and until finally you get to the king, and maybe they'll tell you go back. You're not sure. But Elul is a time, Melech Basode, that the king comes out to you. Umare Ponim Yofis, and he shows a good face to you, even if you have dirty clothes. Meaning, even if you're full with Averis, whatever, but you can always make a cheshbon and do tshuva. This is the month of Elul. So today, excuse me, I want to share with you two different inyonim. Number one, a very short letter I'm going to read of the Rebbe that he wrote, Tovshin Yud Aleph, 1951. And then I'm going to share with you something that Rabbi Mindel wrote down in Hebrew from Chai Elul, 1944. So the letter is like this. From Chai Elul, the Rebbe writes, every year it creates by every Jew the feeling of decision that the new year should be a better year, an uplifting in daily life of oneself and others. If all the years are like that, every Elul, how much more so is this coming year? And this, the Rebbe said that in Tovshin Yud Aleph, Elul, Chai Elul, because the coming year was Tovshin Yud Beis, that was the Shnas Hashmito. And this, our year also, our coming year, Tovshin Pei Beis, is going to be Shnas HaShmito. The year of Shmita is a holy year, the Rebbe writes. Just like Shabbos is the holiest day of the week, the holiest day of the 7 days, the same thing also, the year of Shmita is the holiest year of all 7 years. And the Rebbe writes here that Torah gives a special program for Shemitah year. Torah writes, V'shovsa oret Shabbos Lashem, Shabbos Shabbosain. It has to be a peaceful year, holy to Hashem. Not only the Jew alone should feel the holiness of Shemitah, but even the behemoth, the material and physical life, and even his nefesh habahamis, his animal soul, to remove ourselves from the material gashmias, shake off from our falseness and habits, from our physical dust, and distance ourselves from worldly habits which affects a person's way of thinking. And this is the hachana, the preparation for Rosh Hashanah, for the Shnas HaShemitah. And when a person has this in mind, this Elul, the Eibishter will give him, he'll be Zeiche, to have a ksiva, v'achsima teiva, l'shona teiva mesuka, b'toiv hanire v'hanigle. That's what the Rebbe writes then. And the same thing also, our coming year is Shnas HaShemitah. In a few places, when the Rebbe speaks about Shemitah and also the year of Hakel, which comes after Shemitah, the Rebbe always, in letters to people, mentions about the education, chinuch, of Banim Ubanis Lishmar Derech Hashem. Yiras Hashem. We should put in our children Yiras Hashem. This should be the hachlote in Elul, especially before the Shnas HaShemitah. That's number one. Number two, in 1944, the Rebbe asked Rabbi Mindel, we have to write a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch on the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Those days, as we once mentioned, 44 was not like today. Those days, there was not too many mikvahs in the world, in America especially. Those days, there was not too many Talmud Torahs, not too many yeshivas, not too many yeshiva ktana, yeshiva gdeila. Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, Yiddishkeit grew. There's yeshivas, there's Talmud Torahs, there's Chabad houses, there's everything all over the world, every corner in the world. But those days not. So people were Amaratzim. They didn't know. The Amaratzis was very big. They didn't know how to learn. They couldn't open a Shulchan Aruch, know what to do. Rabbi Yosef. They couldn't open a Dalta Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. They couldn't open a Mishnah Brura. They couldn't open a Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. Too hard. So the Rebbe wanted that they should make a Kitzur and the Kitzur, not a new Shulchan Aruch. Just take the Kitzur and make a Kitzur so people to be able to read it right away, know what to do. Because the most important thing that Rebbe said to get ready for the new year is Poshet, what we have to do. Poshet b'Poshet, what to do. Not philosophy, not learning is very important, but if you don't know what to do, so the whole learning is nothing. So the Rebbe said that you make a Shulchan Aruch. I did print the Shulchan Aruch, but it wasn't done the way it should be done. And later on I found more halachas and more notations of the Rebbe. So here I have the Shulchan Aruch that he asked the Rabbi Mindel to work. This is a Shulchan Aruch that the Rebbe was holding. This whole Shulchan Aruch. This is the Rebbe's Mara Mekemis. I don't know if you can see it. Mara Mekemis all over. And I showed the Rebbe, but I found more Mara Mekemis from the Rebbe. And this is, it's old. The Rebbe starts here, Pashat to do from the morning, and then he goes into the daytime to wash hands, and tzitzis, and tefillin, and everything. This is something that I think we should print it. I don't know why it wasn't printed. And I gave out, but it wasn't the way it should be. So anyways, I wanted to tell you about the Shulchan Aruch. So then the Rebbe said, giving him the Shulchan Aruch. And so the Rebbe spoke to Rabbi Mindel then. This was before the Rebbe was the Rebbe. From the Frierdiker Rebbe, he said, every parent, fathers, should not forget every day to learn or be involved in the chinuch, in the education of the children. And they should be a dugma chaya, a living example. And the Rebbe said then, Rabbi Mindel wrote it down. He gave examples. And the examples, what the Frierdiker Rebbe said, he said. It's not from the Rebbe, that's from the Frierdiker Rebbe. What did he say? Parents should be careful to say, I wrote it here, it's written down, Omein Yehei Shmei Rabba. That the children should see that the father is carefully saying, Omein Yehei Shmei Rabba. Number 2, daven with a minyan. The parents have to daven, the father should daven with a minyan every day. Sometimes I guess Rabbi didn't say that. People go to shul, they talk in shul, and when it comes to davening, they do it fast, they don't daven with a minyan. The hachlote, before the Shnas HaShmita, 1944, was also before the Shnas HaShmita, that the parents should take upon themselves to daven with a minyan. The Rebbe once said, the Rebbe wrote somewhere, it says, the Rebbe writes a letter, Vosik v'chosid. So somebody asked, why Vosik? What does Vosik? What does Vosik mean? So he said, Vosik means Vosikin, early. You have to go to shul early, and chosid, go out like a chosid. Then the Rebbe said, all from the Frierdiker Rebbe, as it says in Tanya, not to speak dvorim betelim. And dvorim betelim means not speak about baseball, not to speak about football. Dvorim betelim means if people get together and they speak and nothing good can come out of it, that is called dvorim betelim, pustared. And not to speak lashon hara. And the Rebbe mentions, as it says in Perik Zayin Ches in Tanya, the consequences. What if a person chas v'sholem speaks lashon hara? And he mentioned over here that lashon hara is the only aveda that says the word hara, bad, because that has an effect on other people also. And this is something that a person can take upon himself, achlote. Also, mahadir in kashrus, as the Frierdiker Rebbe said. When you go buy something, be mahadir in kashrus. Nisar in tznius. That tznius doesn't only mean that a woman should wear the right clothes and should cover her hair, of course. Tznius means that you have to be careful in speaking nivelpeh, how a person speaks. Love every yid and raise your children b'derech haTorah v'mitzvah. And this is what the Rebbe said then, and the Rebbe says there that in the name of the Frierdiker Rebbe, that when a parent puts his child to sleep, he should lay in Krishma, sing a Hasidische nigun, and say stories of tzaddikim. Then the coming year of Shemitah, it'll be a nachas year. They'll have nachas from the children. It'll be a healthy year. It'll be a sweet year. And begashmis uveruchnis. So when he gave him the Shulchan Aruch, meaning Poshet, the Rebbe wants that people should do, because when it comes to people do tshuva after Simchas Torah, people are back to the same thing. But when people make a achlote, that these are the specific things that they're going to do, then they're going to do it. And I want to finish off another thing that the Rebbe mentioned to Rabbi Mindel. It was not then, but the kids of Shulchan Aruch, it was another time. He mentioned also from the Frierdiker Rebbe, and it was also before Shemitah, that a person should always have in mind what Shlomo HaMelech said. The world is Hevel Havolim, vanity of vanities. Hakoil Hevel, all is nothing. The physical world is nothing. Shlomo HaMelech wore a ring all the time. What does it say in his ring? Gimel Zayin Yud. Gam ze ya'avir. This will also pass. All the noisy attractions of the world that run after money and honor, covet, in truth, it's hevel habolim, it's nothing. The person comes down in this world naked when a person is born, and they wrap the person with a piece of cloth, and when a person leaves the world, also naked, and they wrap the person with a piece of cloth. So when a person thinks in all these inyanim in the month of Elul, before Rosh Hashanah, so this will give him a certainty that he should become better in Torah mitzvahs. He should say more Tillim with the Chayas, give tzedakah. And as the Rabbi finishes off here, this stays forever, and he's rewarded in this world and also in the other world. Now, before I finish, I just want to say my own svara, and I usually don't do it. I think if somebody makes a achlote and he writes it on a piece of paper, and Erev Rosh Hashanah, when they go to the Eil, they tell us to the Rebbe, then you can be sure he's not going to lie to the Rebbe, so he's going to keep everything that we just said that the Rebbe wanted. We should have Ksiva V'Achsima Teva L'Shana Teva Mesukah. Thank you.